Welcome back to Clean with Kate. It's a beautiful sunny autumn day. I'm feeling pretty on top of the house, so I thought I'd give you a little tour, just show you what's changed at this time of year. First thing I'm going to show you is these fantastic nereens at the front of the house, and then we'll go inside and I'll give you a house tour and just show you what's going on, what projects I'm working on. Anyway, the pots that you may have seen in my videos, the pots I planted earlier up in the season are doing really well. Just need to come and give them a bit of a weed. But these little pansies, these tiny little pansies are doing really well. But the real showstopper at the moment is these fabulous nereens, which I keep in this pot all year round. And I've actually started to plant some of them out, and they're just doing fantastically well here. It's been a really good year for them. At this time of year in October, these nereens flower absolutely fantastically, and they obviously love this spot because they're doing really well. Anyway, let's go inside. So I've still got my geraniums in the porch at this time of year, and also I've popped a couple of apples and things in here just to change the seasons. There's some ornamental gourds that Mike's grown. Oh, I think I might have to take a quick pause there. I think I'm going to sneeze. I've been dusting. Oh, no, it didn't happen. Anyway, let's go inside and have a look inside the house. So I'm coming from the porch, we're coming into the entrance hall. So I always keep artificial flowers here because the light quality is not particularly good here. So it's a good place to just have artificial flowers because they just bring a bit of the outside in. So let's lock the door. Big door this. Oh my goodness, I might have to come back to this job. Yeah, I think I'll have to come back to it later. Sorry about that. So in the entrance hall, I've got this huge door curtain which goes across the entrance. So in winter, we can keep the drafts out, and actually I need to give it a bit of attention. It might need to come off actually and have a wash. It's looking a little grubby and it's actually fallen off its thing, so this is a really good time of year to just have a look around, see what jobs need doing to get the house sort of ready for winter, and that is one of them. The other thing is, whoops, golly, I've managed to pull it off completely. It's definitely ready to come down for a wash, so I've made that into an emergency job. So I've got my draft excluders out ready for winter. So at this time of year, it's really good to just pop them down by the bottom of the door and just keep the drafts out because it is a drafty old house. So I just keep jackets, things here next to the door, just where I can grab them easily. And we're into sort of autumn-winter sort of attire now. So I forgot to show you this room last time. This is the downstairs toilet, and it is in fact one of my favourite rooms in the house. I absolutely love this little room. When we did the decor in this room, I really went to town and I did everything I wanted to in here. So we have an antique toilet in here. At the moment, it's full of plants, some of which clearly, including this oxalis, which I had to label because I just couldn't remember the name of. It keeps drying out in here. I might have to move it out of here. I think the reason it's drying out is at this time of year we have the heating on in here, and it's got this huge radiator in here, this lovely old antique radiator which we had restored and then plumbed in, and it gives the most amazing amount of heat out. The only problem is it means that it tends to get quite warm in here in winter, so I don't think the oxalis is really enjoying it. The other oxalis in here looks a little stressed too. But thank you, Daniel, for the tip. This plant seems to be much happier in here. So I'm pleased I've moved this plant into this room recently because it wasn't happy in the kitchen at all, and it seems much happier. And the succulents usually do well in here over winter. And you can see the fantastic colour from outside of the nereens. So in here, there's an antique toilet and cistern, and then lots of antique pictures. There's an antique mirror there, and I can't remember if this sink was in when we bought the house or if we put it in. I think we put it in. I think there was a sort of 1970s toilet suite in here when we bought the house. So everything in here, oh golly, I've just spotted the most enormous cobweb in that corner I'll need to come back for. Everything that's in here we put in. And I really went to town on this room. It was a really fun project, and bought all these little antique prints at auction very inexpensively because they weren't popular when I bought them, but they seem to be more popular now, these prints. They just go really well, I think, with the theme of the room and also with the floor tiles. Oh, I've got my old scruffy trainers on because I've been in the conservatory. Anyway, I'm going to switch the light off in there, otherwise I'll forget and it'll be on all day. So from the downstairs loo, the downstairs loo is off the main entrance to the house, which is this long corridor. And this long corridor leads through to another hallway down the bottom, and it has this enormous storage cupboard in. When we moved in, this huge storage cupboard was actually in the kitchen, but it completely dominated the tiny kitchen, the original kitchen for the house. So we moved it. So we had a big team of builders because we had to do a lot of work to the house when we moved in, and we moved it into this hallway, and it just seems more appropriate here. I wonder if originally it would have been in here. I don't know, because it's actually lined with sort of it was lined with like a velvety material. And I don't think that would have been in the kitchen, but who knows? Who knows with these old houses? Things move around. It may not even be original to the house. It may have been bought at auction. But it kind of goes with this other cupboard here. It's painted in the same colour as well. So I think it would have probably, we haven't repainted this. I think they would have originally been together. So we've put it back where we thought it went. And also in the hallway, we put this enormous mirror in. The reason we put this huge antique mirror in is the hallway can feel quite narrow and dark, and we thought that this enormous mirror would really help to make it feel wider and to bounce the light around. Golly, I must be careful here. There's a step coming up. I'm just a bit worried I'm going to fall backwards down it. So I'll take you through to the next room and show you the projects I'm working on. There's quite a lot going on at the moment. The house is kind of a bit sort of taken apart. So from here we go into the main entrance hall of the house. This is actually the original entrance hall of the house. And in here I've got one of my china cupboards. So I've got all my sort of vintage tea sets in here. If you've watched any of the other videos, you've probably gathered that we are vintage china dealers. Mike's very passionate and runs a vintage china website. I started off the sort of passion about, golly, how long ago now? 25 years ago, I started collecting vintage china. And this is my original tea set that I bought, I think, many years ago. And so in the summer particularly, we love to have afternoon tea in the garden. So that's my tea set. And then I just got really into collecting vintage china, and then ended up setting up a vintage china business with Mike. This is original to the house. This wonderful cupboard was originally above one of the fireplaces in the older part of the house, but we didn't feel it was appropriate over the fireplace, so we placed it with a picture and we popped it in here. But I'm not sure what it would have been originally. Is it a key cupboard? We keep old keys in it. I think that's actually somebody. It looks like Bedford Luton, Bedford Buxton, I don't know. I don't know what's written on these. It's really interesting, but I do dog training. So I've put quite a lot. When I've won rosettes, I've stuck them in here. So it's kind of become a rosette cupboard, but we need to put some more nails up because all the rosettes are falling down. So I do dog agility. I mainly do it as a hobby, but I did have a time when I did a bit of competing. And these are my rosettes from when I was competing with my dogs. But now we just do it for fun. Anyway, going through into the main hallway, I tend to use this as an exercise area, hence the Pilates mat and the laptop. I tend to do Pilates in here, or I do a bit of weight training in here. And this room is very nice and light in the day. It looks out over the garden. You can see one of the chickens out there scratching around. I don't know if you can see her under there. They're being a bit naughty at this time of year. They're coming into the garden. They have a huge area to range over, but for some reason they've decided they want to come into the garden and see if there's better food here. So this is a nice sort of sitting area, nice place to have a cup of tea or read a book. The light's really good at certain times of the day, this being one of them. So it's a lovely room in the morning. By sort of late afternoon, it's not getting as much light, but at this time of day, sun's streaming in through that window. And this was originally the main entrance to the house, and this was the front door. So quite a while ago, before our time, somebody moved the main entrance to the house, probably maybe 100 years ago, who knows? And they did a lot of work to the house actually. And this is now, we use this as a storage cupboard. So I store my weights in here, I store our coats in here, I store rucksacks in here. Pilates mats, all sorts is in here. Shoes, I've got a big shoe storage area. I've got far too many winter boots, as you can see. Golly, that's crazy, isn't it? I probably need to get rid of some of my winter boots. Yeah, I'm not wearing them all. There's definitely too many. Imelda Marcos. Anyway, this is the original front door to the Georgian farmhouse, and it's a beautiful old door, as you can see. And when it gets really cold, I put this door curtain across it to keep the drafts out, because it is a drafty old door. But no, the entrance to the house no longer comes that way. I think in the Victorian times it probably got moved because the staircase got moved at the same time. So I'm not sure where the staircase used to go, but it wasn't there. That's a Victorian staircase as far as I know, although the farmhouse is Georgian. So that staircase was, the lower staircase was moved at some time. We still have the original Georgian staircase going up to the 3rd floor. So what have I got here? I've got Bear Grylls. I've picked this up in a charity shop. I'm hoping to use it just to inspire me with my workouts, my home workouts. And we've bought lots of sort of old prints at auction and formed a sort of gallery on the landing, just of prints that we thought might be appropriate for the house, or just prints that we loved. I particularly love this one of the cows in the barn, because this is an old farmhouse. I've got a huge mirror here, a huge antique mirror that I use when I'm working out, and lots of storage under the stairs. It's a bit messy at the moment. I need to have a sort out, but I can store out of season clothes and all sorts of things under the stairs, mainly out of season clothes, hats and scarves, things like that. There's a tiny little log burner in here, but it doesn't get lit that often. Since we did the barn conversion and we now have the big sort of family room, we don't tend to use this as much. We used to use it a lot before we did the conversion because it was a really cosy place to sit in winter. I'm not sure how the spider plant's doing. I think it is needing more light. It's not looking overly happy. It's having lots of babies, but then the babies are dying. Maybe I'm not watering it enough. Anyway, I'm in the middle of doing something in the lounge and then I got very, very distracted and I haven't come back to it. I think it's because I found this, I need to deal with this damp in the lounge. This is a problem with old houses. Ever since we bought the house, we've had recurring issues with damp in this wall. This is a lime plastered wall, so it can breathe. And so I've pulled the sofa out and it's been out now for about a month and I'm letting it breathe. The problem is if we don't do this, we get, you can see down here, I've had problems with fungus growing in the wall before and because of the damp. It's nothing to be alarmed at. We have treated it, but it's just a recurring issue in this old house. This is a damp wall for some reason. This is a damp wall, and I think the reason is it's quite low lying, and the ground, the road, when it rains, the road gets quite wet, and I think a lot of the water soaks because we're slightly low. We are lower than the road. The water soaks down into the ground and into the house. This is a Georgian farmhouse, and as a result, it doesn't have any damp-proof course really to speak of. It has an injection-proof damp-proof course, which is working in many parts of the house, but this is one of the older parts of the house and it's definitely not working in this wall. It used to have pink plaster on it when we bought it and it was completely rotten. So there's pink plaster above, but what we did when we bought the house is we had the bottom wall done in lime plaster, which can cope with the damp better than the pink plaster does. But we do periodically need to let it, after a rainy period, pull out the sofa. Having a sofa against this wall probably doesn't help, and just let it breathe. So the next thing that we're going to be doing is we're probably going to just treat it again for mold and just put something on to kill any mold spores, and then we're going to re-lime wash it. Lime wash is really good for damp. It sort of sterilizes it almost, and it'll look a lot better once it's had a new coat of lime wash applied. So what else is going on here? This room's a bit of a mess at the moment. Sorry about this. It looks lovely usually when it's set up. This is our sort of winter lounge. We have our Christmas tree in here. I've got one of the big Dysons out. I've been vacuuming the carpet and just checking it, see if there's any moth damage. There's a log burner in here, which is really cosy in winter. And it's a really nice TV room. As you probably noticed around the house, I'm quite into these Staffordshire China dogs. My daughter got me into them a couple of years ago. She bought a set, and ever since then, we've both been collecting them. I particularly love this mismatched pair. I absolutely love the colour of this one. It's one of my favourites. And I've got it with a white one over here. They're kind of a pair, but they're not the same colour. They're the same pair, white and size-wise. I've got my tripod out. I was doing some filming in here. I wonder where that tripod had gone. So the furniture in here is all antique. That we've had these chairs reupholstered a couple of years ago and recovered. And the lamps in here are all antique ones that I've either picked up in antique centres or at auction. I think this was an auction buy. This was a particularly good one. I absolutely love the china on this one, and the lampshade is just gorgeous. The workmanship that has gone into some of these old lamps is just incredible. There's another one over here that I picked up. at an antique centre in Newark. Probably about 20, oh, what have I got on my hands? Oh no, I've been touching the oxalis. I'm going to have to take a pause. That was really silly, Kate. Look at that. Golly, that was a valuable lesson. Don't do plank care while you're making a video, Kate, and wash your hands after you've been handling the oxalis, or wear gloves. Anyway, I'm back. Panic over. I was showing you the lamp. So this is a lamp that we bought about 20 years ago. At the time, we were living in a new build house, and it wasn't really appropriate to the house. And I just said to my husband, I just feel that it's meant to be our lamp, and one day we will have the sort of house where we need to put this lamp in. And sure enough, it goes perfectly with this house. So if you see things like this and you love them and they're a reasonable price, this was very inexpensive. Because when I bought this, these sort of things weren't sought after. But I absolutely love this lamp. It's one of my best ever buys. And I think I was just visualising the house that I wanted by buying the lamp. And this is a print, this is actually a painting, I think it's an oil painting that we bought on holiday many years ago. We've had that painting a long time. And then I've got lots of sort of old prints in here, just picked up at auction. And again, another lamp here that I picked up at auction. So if I see these sort of lamps, I buy them because I just love them. Got to try not to break it. It's quite dusty, this one. And we have the old radiators in here that were all commissioned at the same time as the radiators in the downstairs loo. And the curtains I picked up at an antique centre in Newark after we bought the house, but before we moved in. And look, I just saw them and thought they were perfect for the room. And they went with the colour scheme that I was going with. And they also went with the carpet, which actually came with the house. So it's a lovely view at this time of year from this. This room's gorgeous in autumn. What are they doing down there? I must have put them there. Wonder where they've gone. Because you get a lovely view of this fabulous smoke bush out of this window. And so you just feel really like the outside is coming in. And I've planted all these nerines here at the base of this window, which are fantastic in autumn. I'm really a big fan of nerines. That's probably why I moved the artificial flowers, actually, so you could see the nerines. But I mustn't forget that they're there. I might need to come back and bring those out, I think. Golly, this room, I do need to put this room back together. I think that might be a job for the weekend. Put the room back together. And we have Christmas lights in here. We tend to leave them up all year round. They're just around the fireplace, just because in autumn and winter, they're just so cosy. And they reflect in the mirror. Let's go through into the dining room. Take you in a slightly different order. I think the oxalis plants are taking over the house. There's more oxalis here. Ah, don't touch them, Kate. Learn your lesson. So this is turning into a bit of a conservatory at this time of year because I'm having to bring a lot of the plants that have been outdoors or been in the conservatory in for winter. Because, for example, these, if I leave them in the conservatory, they sometimes die. Same with the succulents. They don't like it in the conservatory over winter. So they're all coming in to the dining room. I'm hoping that these are going to root. Is anything happening? Oh, yes, look. I popped these in some water. I need to probably top the water up, actually. It's quite low. I popped them in some water about a month ago, and they last really well in a vase. So I'm hoping that then they're going to root in, and I'll be able to pop them in some compost, and they'll be baby plants for next year. Golly, I need to come in here and do some dusting. As you can see, I've got some more of these dogs in here. And again, I've planted nerines outside. These ones haven't done as well. So I probably need to cut back some of the other plants, but I'm hoping I will get a big display of nerines there in years to come. What else would you like to see? Let me know in the comments what sort of things you'd like to see on the house tours. This is another of these huge, great radiators. Golly, I'm zoomed in, aren't I? And again, we've got lots of old pictures in here, just picked up sort of inexpensively at charity shops and auctions. I never spend very much on my pictures. I just buy them. I just buy what I like, but they're all just prints. They're very, very inexpensive, usually picked up for about £5. I do need to put my radiators, in my frost protection radiators, back into the conservatory. I was talking to Mike about this yesterday as we did some work in the conservatory. So the conservatories are getting a little chilly now. Oh, it's really cold in here this morning, actually. It was really cold last night, so I think we do need to do it this week because we're starting to get really cold overnights. And as you can see, the conservatory is still looking really good, but if we get a frost, all this will be really, this is not frost hardy. It won't cope if we get a frost inside the conservatory. You can see when you look at the windows here, how much condensation there is on them. It was a really, and it's, what time is it? It's 11 o'clock in the morning and it's still really, really cold in here. So I need to get a little bit of heat in here now for November. Usually about October is the time end of October usually we put some heating into here, because it's not on the central heating for the house. When we bought the house, we did actually want to put it on the central heating, but the plumber talked us out of it because he said it won't keep the heat in because it is just a greenhouse attached to the house. But I must admit, I do regret not going with my gut instinct, which was to put a big radiator in here. I think a big radiator in that corner would have been really good. It would have helped dry the wall out, which has a tendency, as you can see, to be damp. And also, it would have just made it so much easier to keep the conservatory just a bit more on the warmer side, so we could use it more of the year. Because it kind of, in winter, it does get very, very cold in here. Sometimes I put a fan heater on. Anyway, it's looking pretty good at the moment. I'm pleased with how, for the end of October, I think it's looking really good. I just need to do a bit more tidying up. Tidy up some of the plants, just put a few things away. These need to come into the house. I think they really need repotting. They're just little plants that are seeded in there. And these succulents won't survive in here over winter. So I'm going to have to, same with the Christmas roses, they never do well in here. They're all right in here over summer, but it's too cold for them in winter. So it's quite a few jobs for the weekend. It's like gardener's world. Anyway, let's keep that door shut. I still haven't made a decision on this. This is my cocktail area. Do I leave it here or do I find somewhere new to relocate it to, seeing as I don't drink cocktails at the moment? I've given up alcohol. 7 months now, I've had no alcohol. But it doesn't, at Christmas, I'm sure the cocktail area will get lots of use. So I'm just thinking about that for now. I haven't decided what I'm doing. Been thinking about it for some time. I'm just making sure I haven't accidentally paused. So we're back into the hall. And in the hallway, we have these little cupboards, which are full of glass. I don't know if I've ever shown you in the little cupboards before. What else? Oh my goodness, look at that. So I've got my children's little shoes. Two of my eldest son and my daughter's baby shoes. I think it's quite a cute little place to keep them. And then they get a little surprise. But I need to go through this cupboard because most of these glasses are not being used. And I think I may need to decide to declutter these and just use this cupboard for something different. What would you use this fabulous cupboard for? I wonder if it's a bookcase, really. It's an antique that I bought at auction. And it's oak. It's quite an interesting cupboard. I don't know what age it is. If you know, please do let me know. I could use it as a bookcase, but it's not really ideal having all these glasses in here. In the past, when we've had children visiting, one of the children bumped into the bookcase and we had a lot of breakages. And so I think we should put something else in there because it's in a passageway. I don't think glass is the ideal thing to have in there. So I think I am going to do a bit of a declutter on the glasses. I've got another one down here, another little pier cupboard. What were pier cupboards used for? I have never actually looked it up. And they're very useful for storing glasses in, but they tend to be in passageways. So what would people have put in them originally? I don't actually know. Well, they display cupboards. This one's absolutely full of glasses. I've got a whole set of pink stemmed champagne glasses. I think I should probably give those to my daughter. I think she's more likely to use them than I am. Or I should get them out and enjoy them. Or I should maybe sell them. I could put them on my vintage website and sell them because they haven't had any use for a while. We're definitely not drinking as much Prosecco as we used to. I'm not drinking any. I'll just show you the lighting in the entrance hall. So I've put matching set of chandeliers in here. These are very inexpensive. You can pick them up from antique centres or auction. I don't think we have, no, I think these ones, some of the ones we bought at auction, we have had to have rewired, but I think these two were okay. I think we bought these in an antique centre. It's quite a long time ago now. It's about 12 or 13 years ago, but they were very, very inexpensive and they're proper glass chandeliers. Anyway, going through to the next part, we're back in the hall. So where should we go next? Golly, should we go upstairs? Yes. Come on, I'll show you what I've been working on this week. I'm just going up the stairs. On the staircase, we have these stair rods to keep the stairs in place, although the carpet fitter, we did replace this carpet a couple of years ago, and we actually matched the carpet to a carpet that was already there as closely as we could, but the carpet was threadbare, and Mike insisted on we should replace it. I was quite okay with the threadbare carpet, to be fair. I thought it was, I didn't worry about it. But anyway, the carpet fitter did insist on tacking the carpet down and putting underlay under it, which the original carpet didn't have. But we managed to get our stair rods down. We're onto the landing now. I'm having a bit of a sort out at the moment. I've got all my winter socks out. So, what am I working on in here? This week I'm working on the master bedroom. So far I've given it a good vacuum. I haven't done a lot else yet, but I do need to come in and give it a full tidy up. I also have a couple of baskets of laundry to put away. I've washed the mattress protector, but it's not looking bad. I had a really good result with the Dyson vacuum cleaner. So the bedroom's not looking too bad. And the room next to the master bedroom is my dressing room. So in here is an ensuite bathroom with an enormous bath, a mirror, a wardrobe. Well, I've sorted out my wardrobe now, although the base is a bit of a mess, but I have actually sorted out, and all my sort of autumn clothes, but autumn colour clothes are out, and I've even got a couple of winter skirts out. There's my cupboard of pampering. This cupboard is just full of things for pampering. So I don't ever need to buy any of these things. Whenever I get given anything, I just pop it in my pampering cupboard. So I've got my own little shop in there, really, haven't I? Of things that I get given for my birthday or for Christmas are in there. So when I need something, I just go in there and look for it. I've got a bit of a thing about vintage baskets. Mike was saying to me, I think you need to let some of them go. But I must admit, I do love my vintage baskets. Oh, I've got a tripod in here as well. I must have been making a video in here. So it's not looking bad. I'm still in the process of putting a few things away. I've got a few summer cardigans to go away, some more cardigans there to go away, and a couple of autumn winter skirts that I've just got out of storage. Golly, I've got one hell of a hot spot on the landing. I'm just going to the family bathroom. It's not looking bad. Just pop the loo seat down, I think. That toilet seat is looking very, very faded. I've just had the genius idea that I might be able to restore it. What I'm going to do is I've bought a pot of beeswax furniture polish, and I am going to try polishing this because I've bleached it so many times. It's looking really, really scruffy. So what I'm going to try and do is put some beeswax polish on it, just see if that will restore it a little bit. Let me know if you've got any ideas about how to restore golly, what is this stuff called? This is something, it's very classic of its time. It's a bit like plastic, but it's much tougher. It has a special name and I can't remember what it's called. That's a vintage toilet seat and a vintage cistern. I think they're probably from, oh my goodness, is it 1950s? Let me know if you know. This is a original vintage bathroom. Although the taps on the bath are actually older than the bathroom. They're antique taps. I think we should probably replace them with chrome, but whether we'll ever get round to it, I don't know. So the bathroom's looking pretty good. I'm completely caught up on my laundry. Look, empty laundry baskets, yay! I've got a little picture gallery in here. Golly, I'm running out of things to say. I've not got very far. So I just take you down the landing. Oh, I need to go back and switch the lights off. There's so much to show you. So I'll show you what I'm working on. So I'm not doing anything in the bathroom at the moment. That is just, oh my goodness, I've got some horrible water stains on that bath. I need to come and give that some attention. I think that tap's leaking, but that bathroom is not getting used at the moment. But what I'm doing is I'm working in here. So I'm just going through out of season clothes. I've stored them in these big trunks, which are really useful. And I'm just having a bit of a sort out in here. Oh, I wonder where that laundry basket had gone. I've put some summer things away in here, summer leggings. And actually I found these really useful as well. These things are these crystals that absorb dampness because it's an old house and it is fairly damp. They're just very useful. Oh, and look what I've just found. Found these lovely drawer liners. Picked them up in a charity shop during the summer, but actually I need to get them into the drawers and use them because they just make your clothes smell nice. So I need to remember to come back and do that. So it's not too bad in here. I'm in the process of sorting stuff out. I think that could go back in there. So that's not actually being worn at the moment. Still haven't put these pictures up, and that needs to go somewhere, but not here. And there's some summer things need to go back in the attic. So what I'm doing is anything that can be folded and put into a storage box is going into a storage box. And anything that needs to stay on a hanger, like jackets or dresses, I'm putting in my attic. Golly, I've just spotted the most insane cobweb. Look at this. Oh my goodness. I think I might need to come and do some work in this room. We have a lot of cobwebs in here, a lot of spiders. Golly, when you've got a house this size, that is the problem. It just gets neglected. There are certain areas that I don't visit from month to month. Anyway, Kate, just cut yourself some slack. It's a big house. Right, I'm just going to put this basket ready to go downstairs, back to the other utility room. I'll try not to fall over it. Right, okay. Where are we going next? I'll just take you and show you the little loo on the landing. A loo with a view. Oh, it doesn't seem to want to pause. So I'm showing you, brought you in here really to show you this little gallery in the loo, which I really absolutely love. Am I still recording? I'm just checking. So all these little prints, I still pick up little prints if I see them. All these little horse prints that I picked up. I think this one actually came with the house. I think I found this picture in the attic. It's an incredible picture. But the reason it's on this theme of English hunting scenes is because the farmhouse used to be where the hunt met. Not that long ago, not in our time. It's never met here during our time. And so I thought this little collection of hunting prints just seemed appropriate. But when I talk about a loo with a view, you've got a view. I love sitting here. Actually, I can see Ted. And if we can zoom in on him. There you go, there's Ted. Just lying, sunning himself. The toy poodle. Let's come out again. So when you're on the loo, you have a view. Okay, let's go somewhere else. Should we go on to the top floor? I'm not sure if I took you to the top floor last time. Golly, I hope my battery doesn't run out. Sometimes when I'm making these videos, it just completely dies on me and I carry on talking. Right, this is the Georgian staircase to the top floor. And this has at the top of the staircase, you have long views into the distance and the countryside, because we're sat in the middle of the countryside. So here's the box room. I think the box room's actually got worse since last time I showed you. I think Mike has dumped some things in here. These are boxes of china and glass that he thinks are mine, that he's popped in here. He's also dumped this enormous standing desk in here that I should probably put on Facebook Marketplace or eBay or something and sell. But I kind of think I might use it again, so I'm kind of hanging on to it at the moment. I don't know what that's about. But golly, I need to get in here, don't I? I really do. This is at least it's handy to have a box room. This is the attic landing, and this room's looking really good. I'm nearly there now, putting the room back together. Just need to come up again and vacuum it this week. Got a couple of autumn winter jackets actually that I've got out of storage that need to go downstairs, and actually that cushion shouldn't be there. I'm not sure what I'm doing with that. Found this enormous cushion under the bed, but I don't know if I've got a pillowcase for it, so I really don't know what I'm going to do with that. But this has a sort of antique bedroom suite in here and an enormous antique wardrobe where I keep my favourite special occasion clothes in here. So things that don't come out very often. So sort of Christmassy dresses, that sort of thing. Have you started preparing for Christmas? When do you start preparing for Christmas? I have actually done a tiny little bit of Christmas shopping. And I'm actually putting it in here because I was thinking, where am I going to put it? Well, I remember where it is. I'm going to show you a project I am working on currently, which is in Mike's room. Oh no, I can't get there. Sorry, Mike has boxes and boxes of china in here that he's going through at the moment. But I have an empty wardrobe in here. And I want to store dresses in here, but golly, I had a look in here and because it's not getting much use, I need to get in here and clean it before I put my dresses in here. And we need to make sure we're heating up here, otherwise the dresses will just get damp. But I didn't realise what a great wardrobe this is. It has all these fantastic hooks as well, but it is full of cobwebs. So this is one of my jobs for this week, is to get in this wardrobe and give it a good clean, and then I can use it to store out of season dresses. I try to avoid going into Mike's room, his office. He doesn't sleep up there, you'd be glad to hear, just because it's so messy. But then look at the box room. That's on me, isn't it? Anyway, let's take you somewhere nicer. I've shown you one of the worst rooms in the house. Now I'm going to show you some of the best rooms in the house. You've seen quite a lot of the messy rooms. There's a little guest room in there, but I'm not going in there today because I think it's quite messy. Mike's left stuff lying around, but it's got an antique French bed in there. And Mike uses it as his dressing room. It's where he keeps his clothes. But at the moment, quite a lot of them are just on the bed. Right, let's switch the lights off. This is a really good room for growing. Christmas roses seem to like this room. For years, these, are they called Christmas roses? No, they're not. Christmas cactus, I think. For years, I was struggling to get these to do anything. But they seem to like the light levels in here. And this one's coming back into flower beautifully. It's probably going to flower before Christmas. But I've struggled with them in the past. And this little one's coming into flower. They just seem to love this space. It's not too warm. It's not too cold. It just seems to be right. And I remember to water them in here. Where am I going? I was going to switch the light off, wasn't I? Oh, I've decided I've turned some of my videos into a podcast. Because I know some of you find it difficult to watch me because I move so fast when I'm cleaning. So I'm creating some podcasts. I've created a cleaning routine podcast. And a Fly Lady 31 Baby Steps podcast. If you want to have a Fly Lady refresh and you don't want to watch, you can just listen. Because I know a lot of you just listen to me babbling along. Anyway, we're back into the little kitchen. This is a really cosy room in the oldest part, one of the oldest parts of the house. And the girls have come to say hello. This is Sophie. Say hello, Sophie. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. So this room has lots of pantries off it. So this is one of our main pantries that we use every day. As you can see, I've not long emptied the bin. I need to put a new bin liner in. But this is a really, really useful pantry. It's completely shelved out. It's an original pantry for the house. And a really, really useful place for storing all sorts of things. I'm trying to get most of my things into kilner jars just because I think it looks pretty. But, you know, the reality is, if I put all the tea bags into jars, I can't remember what's what. I'd have to label them, which is not a bad idea, actually. That might be a really good, fun winter project. Put my tea bags in kilner jars. Sorry, the kitchen is not tidy at the moment. I probably should have tidied up before I started filming, but I was in the process of sorting out my fridge. I've decluttered the fridge. I do it every week when I do the bins, have a clear out. But unfortunately, this is broken. It's been broken for a while, but it's got much worse this week. And I need to try and find a new one. So this is my, come out the Snug fridge freezer. This is a problem with fridge freezers. It's that bottom one, isn't it, that we tend to overload. So I need to see if I can find one to replace it. This is another little pantry. This is what we call the coffee pantry. It's really useful, again, having a coffee area, because it's a messy job making coffee. And it means we can keep everything in here. This is something we got recently, this little knock box. Oh my goodness, if you like coffee and you haven't got a knock box, you're really missing a treat. It's so useful. In fact, I should do a little video about the knock box. But basically, when you take the coffee out and it's full of ground, you knock it on there and it comes out, and it makes less mess. Because Mike used to knock it into the compost caddy, but he used to make a lot of mess. Makes less mess now. It was Mike's idea. But actually, when you bang it on there, it's very therapeutic. I love the knockbox. So I'll do some more details on the knockbox in a separate video. These, I love these as well. I'll just show you this. This is original to the house. Again, these lovely old door roller things. So when we bought the house, it actually came with the roller towels attached, but not these roller towels, really old ones. So I went online and I found a company who still makes them. So they just go over here and then you take them off for cleaning. That wasn't very clever. That is actually a clean one. I did it a couple of days ago. And it's just so nice when you wash your hands, you've just got a towel. You've always got a towel there. It's brilliant. So in the kitchen, we've got this Argo. It's a reconditioned Argo. This one's been in the house about 12 years. It's one of the first things we did when we bought the house is we did this room and we got this big Argo in here because the house is old and quite a chilly house, and you know, old houses are damp. A lot of the house has no damp proof course, and this Argo really puts a lot of heat into the house. It's a night storage Argo. It's always on, and it just makes the house so cozy. It's run off solar panels, so it doesn't actually cost us, now we've got the solar panels, it doesn't actually cost us anything to run it anymore. They are quite expensive to run if you haven't got solar panels. Oh, I've got a cup of coffee I made there. I need to take a slurp. So what else have we got going on here? We've got an antique dresser top above here, a plate rack. I think it's actually a Georgian plate rack. Correct me if I'm wrong. And it's actually got the original hooks on it, which are gorgeous. And we've got some sort of, I think they're antique plates. I think they're probably 1900s, those plates. But I tend to cycle my china on the dresser to go with the seasons. And this just felt autumnal. So I really like this china. But in the summer, we'd have more summery china on it. And this is an antique kitchen dresser that we bought. Golly, how long? We've had that quite a long time now. We bought that from an antique centre. And it has changed colour. I think when we bought it, it was actually a much lighter colour. We had it painted cream at one point. It may have come from an auction. Mike's painted it. We then painted it in this very practical dark colour. I think this might be dead salmon, or I think it's one of the fire and ball colours. You can see the age of the dresser on the inside. It's been painted many times. And golly, it's a little bit messy at the moment, isn't it? Should have tidied it up. But we keep our dog bowls in here. I keep my water bottles in here. And just anything for the kitchen that doesn't need to be on view. Things like, what are those things? Things for putting on top of things. And baking trays and all sorts of things are kept in there. Oh, she's really enjoying the Argo. You can see dogs love Argos. They love the heat, particularly at this time of year. So from the kitchen is my office. You don't often get to see my office, but it's pretty tidy at the moment. So it has a lovely view over the garden. And it's a really nice place to come and work. And here I have a huge, another china cupboard, surprise, surprise, which has sort of special china and glasses in it, occasion china. It's quite a big collection of blue and white china in there. That's my first ever blue and white china collection. It's a really nice cozy little office to work in winter. And from the office we go through into a room that we call the tack room. It was actually the original kitchen to the cottage. So originally the house was a tiny cottage that was then extended and extended and extended over the years. And this was the original kitchen. And so it was quite a good sized kitchen for a cottage, to be fair. And everything would have happened in here. It was the living room as well. But we don't use this. It's off our kitchen. In the Victorian times, they built another kitchen there. They extended and they joined the Georgian farmhouse to the cottage. And so now this is a sort of auxiliary room off the kitchen. There's a really good log burner in here. This gives out a lot of heat. Oh, excuse me. I think I'm going to need to take a slight pause and have a glass of water. Golly, that was better. I think this is my longest ever house tour. I didn't know I could talk for this long. I'm just going to pop the lights on in here because it's a little dull today. And as if by magic, the lights are on. Okay, I've got my fairy lights up. I tend to keep them up all year round, but I usually only switch them on in autumn and winter, and sometimes in early spring, just because this is quite a dark room and it makes it much more cozy. Lots of vintage china in here. Again, I've got quite summery china out in here. And I've got this collection of antique coronation mugs. I used to really be into my coronation mugs, but actually I think they're ready for a dust. They're looking quite dusty, so I may need to get them all down and give them a wash, a good wash, because they haven't been used for a while. And there's a picture there of my husband's parents on their wedding day. Sadly, they're both no longer with us, but it's a gorgeous picture, isn't it? So in here, we've got lots of sort of antique samplers, or that's an antique fabric, I think, that somebody's framed. It's just all sort of country scenes. I've also got one of my fish tanks in here with I love my fancy goldfish. I've been keeping fancy goldfish on and off now my entire life since I was a child. It's an enduring hobby of mine. Occasionally we've had a break from it. When the children were young, one of my children, my eldest, was really, really into fish, and his whole room was full of fish tanks with fancy goldfish in. Whoops, somebody's at the door. Oh, that was the postman. Anyway, back to the fish. Anyway, I think they would like feeding, wouldn't they? Golly, they're very lively. I think it's because the house is nice and warm today. Even though it's been a cold night, it's quite warm today because the heating's on and the sun has been streaming into this room all morning. Anyway, let's move away from the fish. So this door here is interesting. We bought this at a reclamation yard. When we bought the house, there was a fire door here because at some point the house had been separated into two houses. Not by, I think the previous owners hadn't done it, but I just think they hadn't taken the fire door out. So we actually bought this fabulous old door in a reclamation yard. And and the glass was all damaged, and we had the glass restored and the leading restored, and literally the builders had fitted it. It had been fitted about a day, and my teenage daughter at the time slammed the door in temper and shattered the glass. It's the door had probably only been fitted a very, very short time. I think maybe that's why she did it, because she knew we'd spent a lot of money and a lot of time and energy having it restored, and we loved it. But anyway, I thought I'm not going to go and get it replaced because it's just inviting her to do it again. So it's been like that ever since. It's been like that now for 12 years, and I think it's going to stay like that. I think it's like that now for the rest of our time here. So I'll just show you some of the features in this. This is the oldest part of the house, and you can see the original beams. We kept them when we restored this part of the house. We kept the beams exposed. They had been plastered over with pink plaster, but it may have been lime wash, but I think it was pink plaster. We took all the pink plaster off. We exposed the beams so we could see them, some of them, not all of them, and then we lime plastered it because this part of the house was incredibly damp when we bought it. And in fact, you can see they've done this to probably deal with some of the damp at the base of the walls. But now it's worked. We're really pleased. It's lime plaster and lime wash, and it's really worked well. And this is no longer a damp part of the house because we put the huge Arga in there. This is a warm and not damp part of the house, so it worked incredibly well. We've got another huge mahogany dresser here. This is not an antique, this is reproduction. And I actually picked this up at auction locally about 12 years ago for about £20. My husband thought I was completely insane when I bought it because it's incredibly heavy and it took several men to lift it. Luckily we had builders on site at the time, but actually it fits that space perfectly because it's quite low. The ceiling in the cottage there is very, very low under this enormous old beam. And it just belongs there. It belongs there. We've got another little antique cupboard here with an old saddle. Again, another thing I picked up at auction, and it just seemed appropriate because when we bought the house, the previous owners they were very much into their horses, and they used this for drying tack. This room, this was the drying tack room because the boiler was in here. The boiler was actually in there. And so we moved the boiler. No, the boiler wasn't in there. That fireplace was completely bricked up or blocked up and plastered over. And the boiler was in front of it. So when we moved in, we thought there must be a fireplace in there. So we moved the boiler and we took the plaster out. You can see it was completely plastered up. In fact, we haven't actually even made it good. And we found the original fireplace to the cottage, which you can see has had a lot of use over the years. And we moved one of the log burner. This log burner was in another part of the house. It was in the hallway, or it could have been in the lounge. I think it was in the lounge. And we moved it in here. And it really was wonderful. That first winter here, this log burner was on all the time, because at that point we hadn't extended into the barn. So this was our main winter eating area when the children were at home. And it's a really lovely cozy room. We still like to eat in here in winter because you can get this room really, really cozy. We've had quite a few Christmases. Well, we've had a small Christmas. We've had some Christmases in here as well, because it's just a really lovely cozy room. It's a great room for playing games with the family in. Off this room is the original utility wash house to the house. This again is in the really old part of the cottage. It's quite a scruffy utility room, and I could make it tidier. It is quite messy. I keep the dog's bones in here, but I love the way it's shelved out. The shelves are so useful in here for keeping cleaning products. And it leads out into the garden. So in summer, I quite often hang my washing out in the back garden because I've got a rotary dryer dryer in there. But again, this is all lime plaster. I think that's the original plaster, actually. I don't think we replaced that. And again, this door's got another one of these lovely hang towel things. The ceiling in here is lime plaster. I think we did have to replaster this one. And as you can see, we have had some water damage. We had a leak probably about 12 months ago, and my husband still hasn't repainted the ceiling. The reason being, it's lime washed, and lime wash is really hard to use. It's incredibly drippy, and he's just procrastinating on it because it's such an unpleasant task. Anyway, let's go through to some of the newer parts of the house. This is the original entrance to the cottage, which remained unchanged. It has a curved wall, which is quite unusual and which we love. When we were doing the renovations, when we were doing the building work to convert the barn, the architect did suggest that we could get a much bigger boot room if we lost the curve and just took it straight across onto the barn. And he's right, it would have given us a much larger room, but it would have lost so much character. So we decided we'd rather keep the character of the curved wall, which is quite unusual. And also the beautiful old window, which we would have lost if we'd done that. I suppose we could have reinstated it. And we kept the boot room small, but full of character. And there's a huge antique radiator, cast down radiator in here, which is fantastic for drying dog leads, dog harnesses, coats. When you come in and it's been raining heavily, rain hats, it's just it's a useful staging point as well. So we've been harvesting apples. There's a basket of apples here. I've got a little bit of a launch pad basket with woolly socks, sunglasses, spare dog collars. I've got my gardening basket here. There's some batteries that need to go out in recycling. There's all sorts. It's a bit messy. I should have tidied it up. But you know, it's a lived-in house. And of course, boots. It wouldn't be a boot room without boots, would it? And more boots going up the stairs. This is quite bizarre, really. When we came to look at the house, there were welly boots going up the stairs. And now we have welly boots going up the stairs. There's even a pair at the top of the stairs. It's just a really good place to keep them. All right, shall we go upstairs and see the cottage, or should we go into the barn? Ooh, a tricky one. Maybe we'll go up into the cottage. You don't get to see the cottage very often. Golly, this is the longest ever house tour. I hope you've managed to stay with me. You might have to watch it in several episodes. So we're up into the cottage now, in the oldest part of the house. And it's got these really small little beams in here where they're all painted black. So we have kept them black. And they've got this lovely, lovely antique reindeer chandelier in here, which I bought at an antique centre. So this is the cottage bathroom. This is one of my favourite bathrooms. It's a really nice cosy bathroom for winter. It's really warm. All the central heating for the entire house goes through this room. It was the first bathroom that we did when we were renovating the house, because it was my daughter's bathroom. And at the time, she did have mixed feelings about moving to Norfolk. So I think we did her bedroom and her bathroom first so that she felt more positive about it. So we've got a restored antique bath in here. And also, I tend to use it as a bit of a plant nursery. So I've got all my orchids in here. I'm really good. They like the light in here for some reason, and they like the warmth, but I'm really good at getting orchids back into flower. I've had these orchids probably for 5 or 6 years now, and each year I managed to get them back into flower. And I've got another little plant nursery here. These are just baby succulents that I'm just taking extra special care of at the moment. They got a little bit dry over summer. So at the end of this corridor is what I call titchy toilet. I'll just pop the loo seat down. And this is just a little toilet. It's separate from the bathroom, and it's really handy to have this little toilet in the cottage. I love this, and we paint because it used to be painted white, but to make a bit more of a feature of it, we painted it in this dark blue. I think it might be stiff key or blue, one of the Farrow and Ball colours. And I just love it. I managed to we ended up putting a new toilet in here. We did have an antique toilet in here, but it caused us a lot of problems, so we replaced it with this reproduction Victorian style toilet and we were able to match the sort of sea colour to the paint colour. And some of my favourite pictures, I absolutely love this little picture in here. It just sparks joy in me. I've got a little gallery wall of some just little old prints from a horticultural book. Golly, this room is a bit of a mess at the moment. It's mainly my daughter's bedroom. She doesn't live here anymore, and it's mainly being used as a storage room. So what have I got in here? Oh my goodness. I've got some children's coat hangers that I had lost and then I found again. I've got lots of seeds. I collect seeds from the garden every year and keep them. And then I sell them on my seed website. My speciality is hollyhock seeds. I've got a lot of hollyhocks in the garden. I absolutely love native hollyhocks. I've also got lots of pictures in here that I'm storing that are just for projects that I'm working on around the house. But I really need to get on, do the projects, put the pictures up, and then I need to send the rest off to auction or put them on one of my websites. There's some absolutely gorgeous pictures here. This is an old photo of somewhere in Norfolk. I absolutely love it. I want to get that on the wall somewhere. And look at this, the golf clubhouse, Mundersley-on-Sea. So there's all sorts here. I might put some of them in the cottage. And these definitely could go into one of my little galleries, couldn't they? These sort of antique hunting scenes prints. I don't know what it is. I love pictures. I find if I see nice pictures in a charity shop or at auction and they're inexpensive, I find it hard to resist them. Well, I'm showing you the worst rooms in the house. The ones that I have. Oh my goodness, more wellies. The wellies are taking over. There's another bedroom here. It's not in use at the moment. It's a guest bedroom. So he's not even made up the bed in here. My son tends to stay in here when he comes, but I need to put some clean bedding on here for his next visit, which hopefully he might be coming this autumn. But it's just having a bit of an air at the moment. Not much to show you in there, to be fair. And then I've got a couple of storage cupboards in here. One for winter coats, which is looking quite organised at the moment. Well, I may need to just check it over. Put some of the coats away. And then there's a bathroom in here that's not in use. And again, it's just full of prints that I need to do something with. Oh my goodness, I haven't been in here and cleaned for months, if not years. I've got some lovely old throws in here as well that I'm not using. So I need to have a sort out, don't I? I mean, that's the story of my life. Whenever I do a house tour, I think it just shows all the things I need to get on and do. Let's go and look at some positives. I've shown you some things I'm not done. Let's go and show you some things that I have done. Okay, now we are through into one of my favourite parts of the house. I have quite a lot of favourite parts of the house. So this is the snug in the barn. This was originally, when we bought the house, had been converted, but it wasn't opened up into the barn, which is what we've done in the last few years. This is a lovely area to sit, a lovely area to read. As you can see, I'm reading a book about ADHD and a book about dog body language. So this is one of my favourite spots to sit and read. The dogs love it in here too, as you can see. It's a lovely sunny room, and it's actually one of the warmest rooms in the house. It's a lovely space, family room for winter. In summer it gets quite warm because it does have a lot of really large windows. It also goes out into the garden, so it's just a really, really nice room to sit and look at the garden and to read a book. We also have a television in here, so it's just a nice relaxing space. A friend had suggested that we should move that enormous cupboard onto this wall, which I think is quite a good idea, and put a huge sofa over there. And I think that's quite a good idea. I'm thinking about it, but you know me, it might take me a while. It might take me years. I think we should have probably done that in the first place, and it would have made it a more usable TV area, because although it's nice to watch TV in here, that sofa, although it's cute, it's not particularly comfortable. So a big, comfortable, squishy sofa over there would be great. The dogs like to relax in here. There's dog baskets everywhere. There's one there, another one over there. Although actually, Sophie seems to prefer the floor at the moment. So I've got a bit of a nature table going on here. I love a nature table. When I was a child, I absolutely loved the nature table at school. I love bringing conkers and acorns and things in. So what I've got going on in here at the moment is we've got all these little squashes that Mike's grown for me, these tiny little ornamental squashes, and these bigger ones. I don't think, as far as I know, they're edible, but he grew them for me just because I like looking at them. So last year we bought some ornamental squashes, and he saved the seeds and then he grew them for me. So it's amazing. I think these actually are turban squashes. I don't know if you can eat them. Let me know if you know, but they're very, very attractive feature. So instead of I like to just have flowers or decorative items. I like to change the seasons. These are artificial flowers, but I just thought the yellow went really nicely with the squashes. I absolutely love this print. This is one of my favourite dog breeds. I've always wanted an English setter. I don't know why we've never had one, but isn't that beautiful? This is an antique print of 2 English setters and I don't know, that's an English pointer, I think, isn't it? It's another of breeds I really like. So from the barn, from the Snug, we're into the downstairs wet room, which was an addition that was put onto the house a couple of years ago. We thought it'd be useful to have a downstairs bathroom so we could sort of future-proof this end of the house. The plan was that if we decided we needed a downstairs bedroom, then this could become a bedroom. This would be the ensuite, and that would be the kitchen and the living space. So we're always trying to think ahead. So there's a wet room in here, tiled with a bronze shower. It looks out over the garden. Again, the plants have crept in. I think I might have too many plants in here. They're actually starting to block the light. And we put a reclaimed toilet in here, an antique toilet and a vintage cistern. The cistern is actually, and the sink are both vintage, but they're a reproduction of an antique design. So they're quite old, but they're not as old as they look. They look really, really old, but they're probably probably only 40 or 50 years old, maybe less. So I absolutely love this. This is one of my favourite bathrooms in the house. And it's a really useful one, actually. If you've got guests staying, it's really useful to have a second shower in the house, because the house doesn't have that many showers. Although it has a lot of bathrooms, it has mainly baths. And also it's really useful if people are using the hot tub, there's a shower next to the hot tub. And this is a print of it's a picture that I found after I lost my spaniel last year. She sadly died from cancer. And that picture is just her to a T. I still miss her. At the weekend, I saw, we were at an antiques fair and I bumped into a couple with a beautiful black and white Cocker Spaniel puppy, and it was a spitting image of her. It was just as if she'd come back. So we have a lot of prints of dogs. As you can gather, we're quite a doggy family. In fact, I think every print in here might be of a dog or horse. There's another one here. Anyway, we're into the main barn. So there's a coat stand there, which is a little overloaded. That's why I say I think I need to put some coats away. An enormous furnace of a log burner in here, which isn't actually lit today. We've had it lit the last few days, but today we have a beautiful sunny day. Hence the reason I thought it would be a perfect day to do a house tour. There's one thing about the sun though, you really notice when the sun's out, how much your windows need cleaning. Golly, I think I might have to get a window cleaner. Those are beyond me. Those windows are enormous. So this is the main sort of family dining area in the house. This is kind of taken over now from the other dining areas because it's just such a warm, sunny room, and it's just such a sociable space. There's another seating area over here, which has got a throw on it at the moment because Ted insists on sitting on that sofa. I'm trying to retrain him, but it's hard. And there's bookcase in here. It's a lovely spot to sit and chat or read a book or just look at the garden. It's looking very, very autumnal at the moment. Golly, I was hoping to get out in the garden and do you a bit of a garden tour on the end of this, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to speak long enough. I better get on with it. So again, lots of old prints in here. This used to be a stable, so the prints in here are mainly horse themed. I just pick up these antique prints when I see them. Or I just buy pictures that I love. This is one of my favourites. I've had this for a long time. I think it's a French one, actually. It's not even that well drawn, but I love it. Just show you my favourite pictures. You can see the old beam of the stable here and the things that they used to tie the horses up to. And I love this little picture. So we've kept quite a bit of the original stable visible in here. When you can see the beam up there and the old stable wall bricks. And we have wood panelled. So we're going through now into the new kitchen, which is part of the enormous family room. And there's quite a lot of exposed brickwork in here from the original building. And also the beams were exposed at the top. We found these huge light fittings. We found on Facebook Marketplace. My daughter found them. And we had to have them rewired. They were in a barn, just on the floor in a barn. We went to pick them up. And these, I think I bought these at an antiques fair, probably about 5 years ago, and I just knew we'd use them somewhere. This was purchased from a local antique centre in Norfolk. I think we had to have that one rewired as well. Golly, I think we had to have all these lights rewired. The electrician managed to do the huge ones, but this one had to go to a professional chandelier restorer in Norfolk. There's a massive reconditioned electric auger in here. I think it was originally either a gas or an oil one, but it was converted to electric. And it's quite a modern auger in that you don't have to have it on all the time. It can be switched off, which is a good thing because this room is really, really warm in summer. It's an enormous room. Let me just zoom out. But because it has so many windows, it also has underfloor heating. It's a very, very warm room. And in summer, you definitely don't need the auger on. It also has a little auxiliary unit on the end, which is a standalone cooker. A bit like a baby belling. So that can be used when the main auger is switched off. But to be fair, we tend to do most of our cooking on the old auger in the little kitchen because it's always on. Right, what? We did a mixture. When we did this kitchen, we used existing furniture that we had, antique dressers like this one, which I've had for probably about 15 years. And then we did have part of the kitchen fitted by a local kitchen company. It was manufactured and fitted by a Norfolk company. So this is the only part of the kitchen that is actually fitted. It's this run of units here. As you can see, the plants are taking over the kitchen. Oh, and this huge plate rack. We couldn't find a plate rack big enough for that wall, so we had that made to fit the space by the kitchen company. And the same company also made the units for the large utility room here. Just pop the light. Oh, I don't know if I want the lights on or not. Oh, maybe we'll have the lights on. That's better. So this unit was also, we wanted to make it so it looked like a piece of furniture rather than a fitted kitchen. Strange idea, I know. So it was not made completely fitted. We have gaps either end. I think the kitchen guy, the guy who made it, I think thought we were completely nuts. But we just wanted it to look like a huge piece of furniture. But where we went wrong is we probably shouldn't have put the base unit on. Because what we've done with the next one is we didn't put any base units on them, just so it makes them look a little bit more freestanding. Golly, I think I'm done. I need to clean out my sinks. They're looking a bit mucky. I love these sinks. They're so useful. I love having this big utility room. It means I can keep my ironing board set up. It's always ready to go, and I can just do a little bit of ironing when I feel the need. But again, the plants are taking over. The plants have moved into here as well. Golly, I think that might be enough for today. I'm starting to lose my voice. I did want to take you out into the garden and show you what's happening in the garden, because the autumn colours are fantastic, and I'm not sure how much longer they're going to last. maybe we can just have a peek out. But I think my voice is going now, so I probably need to take a break. So we'll just finish with a little view out into the garden. I think I'll have to make a separate video tour of the garden, maybe when I get my breath back. I'll just take you out and show you this fabulous rose. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. No, it won't zoom any better. But there's this incredible climbing rose. It's just covered in these bright orange hips. And there's lots of flowers still in the garden, but I'm not sure it's going to last much longer. The leaves are coming down very, very quickly. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I've still got some roses flowering. I'm just going to shut the door because I've got a feeling you two want to come out, don't you? You want to go out and play? I think you do. I think I need to have a sit down and a cup of tea before we go out in the garden. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Hope you're enjoying the videos. If you have any questions about the house or about the work that we've been doing on the house, please do pop them in comments. I love to hear from you. Anyway, bye for now.